through 75 counties and hundreds of investigations. From the most violent crimes to petty infractions. This is Arkansas Crime Watch with Kevin Kelly.
Take a good look at this photo. His name is Christopher Gamble, and tonight he's accused of breaking into a home in Searcy and killing a 74-year-old man. Good evening and thanks for watching Arkansas Crime Watch on Fox16.com. I'm Kevin Kelly. The crime happened in the evening hours of August 17th. Police were conducting a welfare check at a house on South Oak Street, and as Haley Brooks reports, when they entered, they found the elderly man dead.
One man is dead and another behind bars after a welfare check turned into a homicide investigation in Searcy.
Officers made entry, saw that the door was cracked open and made entry into the residence and found Mr. Stevens deceased. Sergeant
Todd DeWitt with Searcy Police Department says Monday evening, 74-year-old Van Stevens was found dead inside his home on South Oak Street.
He had several puncture wounds in his body.
By Tuesday afternoon, police say they had a suspect in custody, but still no motive.
We developed a suspect, Christopher Coy Gamble, and he's currently in the White County Jail.
Sergeant DeWitt says Gamble is facing charges of murder and residential burglary. Police say the two don't appear to be related, but at this time, the investigation is ongoing. Reporting in Searcy, I'm Haley Brooks.
A Cabot police officer forced to shoot a man after pulling him over. Now investigators are pulling all the pieces together. The incident happening outside the entrance to the Magnus Creek subdivision in Cabot. This all happened at around 1:30 this afternoon, or Thursday afternoon, excuse me. Police say it started as a traffic stop that led to an officer firing a shot and hitting a suspect. We do know the officer was not injured in the initial shooting, and the suspect was taken into a hospital in Little Rock. The initial call started within Cabot city limits, but ended in the county. The investigation is now being handled by Arkansas State Police. Turning now to a Crime Watch update, a judge has denied bail to 4 men charged with murder in the shooting death of a student on the Southern Arkansas University campus. This is according to the Arkansas Demgaz. A gag order was also placed on the case. These 4 men were all arrested last Friday. They're each charged with capital murder. 2 of them, Tolbert and Robinson, were listed on the football team's roster. Authorities say they shot and killed Joshua Smith early Tuesday morning. Smith was a senior and studying physics engineering from Sparkman. Police in Fort Smith investigating 2 separate shootings, one of them fatal. The first happened on August 17th along the 5200 block of Johnson Street. When they arrived, they found the man suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. No word yet on a motive or suspect. 2 days later, another shooting in Fort Smith. This time, police say 3 people were seriously injured after being shot. It happened Wednesday night along North 17th Street. Police did arrest 2 people in connection to the shooting. Ramel McLaughlin and Demetrio Williams were taken into custody shortly after that shooting. Both men now face charges of first-degree battery and terroristic acts and are being held in the Sebastian County Detention Center without bond. Little Rock police are on the lookout for a man who's been driving around the capital city exposing himself to women. Several have come forward with similar stories of walking alone when an SUV slowly pulls up next to them, rolls the window down, and then the driver exposes himself to the women. A dozen women so far, at least in the last couple of months, have been targeted, and they're warning others to be on the lookout.
This planned out. I think he's just, unfortunately, a disturbing opportunist. He is definitely using the current mask as an opportunity because his face was covered.
Little Rock police say they haven't been able to catch this man in the act, but they do have a few leads. In fact, they're looking for a mid-size white GMC SUV with no license plate. LRPD says the incidents are continuing to happen between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. in the Hillcrest area. Police in Pine Bluff arrest a man in connection to a homicide that took place August 14th. 31-year-old Iman Jackson was booked into the Jefferson County Jail this past Monday and is now facing a capital murder charge and aggravated robbery. Police believe Jackson is the person who shot and killed 51-year-old Stephen Carter at a home on Burnett Street. This, by the way, marks the city's 18th homicide of the year. Police in Hot Springs investigating a homicide after a body is found in Pope County. On August 12th, a missing person report was filed with police. According to that report, 20-year-old Christopher Lee Jennings had not been seen or heard from since July 28th. Police conducted several interviews, but still no leads. That all changed this past Friday when they, along with state police, were notified of a body found in Pope County. An autopsy was conducted and the medical examiner confirmed that it was in fact Jennings. As for suspects, that's still being investigated.
To send the right consistent message across our state and nation that hate should not be tolerated and individuals should not be targeted for who they are.
A push by Governor Asa Hutchinson and other state leaders for Arkansas to fall in line with other states that have passed hate crime legislation. The Natural State is one of 3 states that doesn't have that law on the books. But as our Jay Burr reports, state leaders are now hoping to change that.
We need to say clearly that Arkansas will not tolerate violence against anyone because of their race, their religion, or because of who they are.
On Wednesday, lawmakers gathered at the Capitol to introduce a hate crimes bill that will be presented in the next general session. It has been tried before without any luck.
But I'm not sure there's many more important challenges that we've taken on in Arkansas than what we need to do to pass hate crimes legislation.
The bill itself lists several categories in which people can be targeted as a hate crime, but not all lawmakers are on board with the idea.
It does offer protections based on, a whole list of special classes. And I just don't think that that's really what we want to do as a society. I think we should start treating everybody equally.
State Representative Tippy McCullough points out that there has been a rise in hate crimes, especially amongst the LGBTQ community.
Are we seeing these things that happen that this bill would address? The answer is yes.
But Jerry Cox with Family Counsel, who has been an opponent of hate crime laws in the past, released a statement saying, hate crime laws do not work. There is no evidence that these laws in other states have ever prevented a crime. We all wish hatred could be stopped by just passing a law against it, but this simply isn't possible. Representative Frederick Love does believe that the enhanced sentencing will work.
If we have the opportunity to deter people from acting on that hate, I think it is imperative we use the means of legislation.
Lawmakers in support of this drafted bill say this is one thing that they don't want the state to be last in.
And being one of only 3, or even worse, the only state without these basic protections that the majority of Arkansans support sends a horrible message about who Arkansas is.
The punishments for a hate crime carries a 20% increase in any punishment handed down from a conviction, whether it be prison time, fines, or probation. And if it's determined that anyone brings a false, malicious, or groundless claim, they too could be charged with a Class C felony. Caught on camera, a suspect wanted in connection to several robberies is now behind bars. 49-year-old Mark Pursley, also known as the Honey Buns Bandit, was arrested Thursday following a robbery at the Hay 95 Gas and Go in Morrilton. Police say he went into the store and pretended to buy a honey bun. Once the store clerk opened the register, as you can see here, Pursley leaned over and snagged the cash and then took off in a car driven by 48-year-old Robin Richardson. Conway police and state police eventually tracked them down and placed them under arrest. Authorities say the 2 suspects are responsible for similar honey bun robberies in Conway, Morrilton, Whitehall, Lone Oak, and other cities. Both are now behind bars and facing charges of robbery. We begin tonight's Crime Tracker report in Garland County, where a Hot Springs man was arrested following a shooting that left 1 person injured. Deputies responded to a car accident on August 15th that happened on Old Brundage Road. According to a report, they found 2 cars in the middle of the street and 1 man on the ground who had been shot. He was taken to the hospital. Deputies say this man, Ryan Payton, was in the other vehicle. After he was taken into custody, deputies say they found a gun in his car. Payton was charged with first-degree battery. Sheriff's deputies in Crittenden County find a body inside a car that may be connected to a missing person report out of Kansas City. The vehicle was found this past Tuesday inside a shipping container in a field off Interstate 55 in eastern Arkansas. According to authorities, they found 36-year-old Marilyn Carter's purse and credit cards inside the car, along with a female body inside that could not be positively identified at that time. Now, Carter's family reported her missing earlier this month while she was on her way to her parents' house in Alabama. Medical examiners now confirming the identity and the exact cause of death. In Ashley County, a grandmother wants the violence to end after her 28-year-old grandson, Nick Lewis, was shot and killed last week. Police in Crossett believe recent crime in the city is a direct response to the killing, including a home being shot 52 times and members of his family receiving death threats. Lewis's grandmother took to social media to break her silence. So far, one man has been arrested in Lewis's murder. In tonight's cold case report, Little Rock police actively searching for a suspect who hit and killed a man more than a month ago. Tay Welsh was killed in a hit-and-run accident on July 17th. Police believe he was struck by a black Ford SUV or pickup while walking at night on the I-30 access road just outside of a construction site. He wasn't found until the next morning. If you can help investigators, be sure to give them a call. Tonight's Mug of the Week goes to Mr. Nathan Anderson, who has a long history of not showing up for his scheduled court appearances. The 34-year-old booked into the Pulaski County Jail this past Wednesday. He now faces 5 counts of failure to appear, possession of drug paraphernalia, probation revocation, and failure to pay. As we leave you, here's a look at Arkansas's most wanted. We want to remind you all of the suspects you've seen tonight are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Remember, if you have any information on any of these cases we talked about tonight, you're asked to call your local police department. Thanks for watching Arkansas Crime Watch. I'm Kevin Kelly. Be smart, be safe, and if you see something, say something. I'll see you tomorrow night on Fox 16 News at 5:30 and 9.